What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another viewer request deck tech video, and back from being out of town for Christmas. So, who do we have here today? We have a classic perfect card. We have Yargle and Multani. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Yargle and Multani, it's an 18-6, 3 generic, 2 black, 1 green, and no abilities. And this, my friends, is the basis of our deck today. And so what are we going to do? We're going to take big, dumb creatures, and we're going to get some value out of our big, dumb creatures. How are we going to do this? Well, I don't really have to talk about the commander all too much because he's a vanilla creature. Vanilla, for those of you who are newer to Magic, just means that they have no keyword abilities, no abilities whatsoever. All he's got is a big old box of flavor text on there. So let's take a look at our creatures today. We have a few, just a few, a solid 24. We got Beifong's Bounty Hunters in here, which I added this card in because Mitch and I were actually talking about this card when he was asking for it, because he's going to probably throw one into Kresh. And Beifong's Bounty Hunters is a 4/4 for 4 that says whenever a non-land creature you control dies, Earthbend X, where X is that creature's power. Which is pretty nice, because, we're going to be running really big, stupid creatures in here, and getting big, dumb lands that just, you can't get rid of them is pretty fun. Then we have Braun. As long as he's in the graveyard and you can control a forest, creatures you control have trample. We have Daemogoth Titan. It's an 11/10 for 4 hybrid green and black. And then whenever Daemogoth Titan attacks or blocks, sacrifice a creature. This is fine. We're going to have some ways in this deck to bring these big dumb creatures back. And in some ways, get them back without having the downsize. Or use them to create value of ourselves. Because we don't want to sacrifice all of our stuff without getting value. Well, how are some of the ways that we can do that? Well, we have Disciple of Bolas in here. This creature enters, sacrifice another creature. You gain X life, draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. Sure, it'd be nice to draw 10 cards, or sure, it'd be nice to draw 18 cards. We also have things like Gucolor Gisa, which is tap a black and tapper, sacrifice another creature, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Also very strong. We also have Shadowheart, Dark Justicar, which is tap 2 and tap it. Sacrifice another creature, draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. So as you can see, we have some value in here. We also have Zu-Ifrit, so if one of these gets to the graveyard, you can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton in addition to its other types and has no abilities, which is fine because a lot of these don't have abilities anyway. Also, Zu-Ifrit is one of my favorite cards in 2025 in Magic the Gathering. Alright, so let's hop back here and go over a few of the others. We do have some Mana Dorks in here, and Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and Fanatic of Rhonas. We've got an Eternal Witness in here. We've got Enra's Forerunners, because we built this deck on a lower-ish budget, $300, so we don't have Craterhoof in here. Although, if you want to, sub out this card for Craterhoof, right? Pretty simple. We got Geode Golem. So if Geode Golem attacks and connects with a player, you can cast your commander from the command zone without paying its mana cost. We got big old Ghalta in here, which is a 12/12 for 12, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control, and it has trample. So this creature is probably going to cost you about 2 green, and that's about it, given what we have for our other creatures. We already went over the Gucolor. We have Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. And whenever Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn, which is nice for these big dumb creatures that don't have keywords, so that way they don't trip over Llanowar Elves and Birds of Paradise, or a Servo token. Guardian Augmenter, commander creatures you control get +2/+2, and they also get Hexproof. He has Flash, so you can blow somebody out who wants to, like, Swords to Plowshares or something, your Yargle and Multani. We have Quakestrider Ceratops. It's a giant Triceratops. It's a 12/8 for 6. That's what it does. Ta-da! We have Ruthless Technomancer, which is when he enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice another creature you control. If you do, create a number of treasure tokens equal to that creature's power. Again, this is one of our sack value engines for our big dumb creatures. You can also go ahead and pay 3, sacrifice X artifacts, return target creature card with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. X can't be 0. We have Steven here to get us some land. The Earth King. So when he enters, you create Bosco, a 4/4 bear, and then whenever one or more creatures you control power 4 or greater attack, search your library for that many basic land cards and put them on the battlefield tapped. Which is really neat because you're going to have a bunch of ways to do that. If nobody wraths your board, you're going to have a bunch of creatures that can do that. And then also, along with that, you have things like Toph and your other Earthbent lands with Beifong's Bounty Hunters, which makes it so if you can Earthbend your lands up to 4, you can use your lands to get you more lands, and that's just wonderful. We have the Get Raw grabbing his ride. He has Trample, he has Haste, he's a 6/5, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you can sacrifice a creature that saddled him it this turn. If you do, draw X cards, then put up to X land cards from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. He has Saddle 1. Yargle, Glutton of the Urborg, he's a 9/3 for 5. And that's what he do. And then we have Zopandrel, which is at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. He also has Reach. Reach is relevant. It saved my life in a arena game the other day. Sorceries. We have a lot of rampant here with Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Traverse the Outlands, Kodama's Reach, and Shared Roots. These are all, like I said, we have some big dumb creatures. We got to get the lands out. Traverse the Outlands is especially good. So long as they don't, kill your big thing, you can search your library for X basic land cards, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Put those cards onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So you can get a whole bunch. Like if you have your Multani out, you can get pretty much all of your basics. Essence Harvest, target player loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the greatest power. Mandate of Abaddon. Choose target creature you control. Destroy all creatures with power less than that. Then you have Overwhelming Stampede. Until end of turn, creatures you control get Trample and plus X, where X is the greatest power amongst creatures you control. And Risk Cards lets you draw a whole lot of cards and then play a spell with mana value 5 or less for free. Instance. This is where we kind of shine. We got to protect our stuff, right? We got to protect our stuff and be able to bring it back from our value engine. So first we got some removal. We got ourselves an Assassin's Trophy here. We do have a pump spell in Berserk. So, if you wanted to, you could double your Multani's power and, attack. We have some ramp in Entish Restoration and Harrow. We have Fake Your Own Death. So if gives the creature, if it would die, it comes back to the battlefield. And you create a treasure token, Feign Death. Same kind of concept. When it dies, bring it back. Same with Not Dead After All. And Undying Evil, give something undying until end of turn. Undying Malice, same sort of thing, right? And then we have our protection in Tyvar's Last Stand. Snakeskin Veil, Tamio's Safekeeping. Also Gaia's Gift and Overprotect, which is pretty fun. Then we have Tend the Pest, which is you can sack a creature and create X black and green pest creature tokens with, when it dies, you gain 1 life, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. We got Momentous Fall. You sack a creature, you draw cards equal to its power, then you gain life equal to its toughness. Return the Wild Speaker. You draw a bunch of cards based on power. We got Putrefy for some more removal. We got Tainted Strike. Gives one of our creatures +1/+0 and gains Infect until end of turn, so you can one-shot kill with anything, pretty much, of your big creatures. And then for artifacts, we do have our Whisper Silk Cloak, our Brotherhood Regalia, Trailblazer's Boots, and Prowler's Helm to try to give our big stuff, like Multani, Yargle and Multani, unblockable. Trailblazer's Boots only gives them non-basic land walk, but in Commander, that's basically unblockable. We have Mask of Gristlebrand, which gives the creature flying and lifelink, so you can have a big ol' 18/6 flying lifelink creature. And when the equipped creature dies, you can pay X life, where X is its power if you do draw those cards. Then you have Fire Shrieker, which is equipped creature has double strike. Enchantments, we're only running 4. We have the Greater Good, sack a creature, draw cards equal to the power, then discard 3 cards. Kaya's Ghost Form brings back the enchanted creature. We have Pharesis giving the enchanted creature infect, and then we have Legend of Kiyoshi, which is draw cards equal to the power, the greatest power among creatures you control, Earthbent X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. That land becomes an island in addition to its other type. Yes, this is playable because it does not have the blue mana symbol anywhere on there. And then Exile the Saga, return to the battlefield transformed, which is then Avatar Kiyoshi. Lands you control have trample and hexproof, and you can add X mana of any color, where X is the greatest mana among creatures you control. Lands, we have a very simple package. I'm not going to go over a whole lot of these. We are running 22 basics because of things like Traverse the Outlands and our other ramp spells. We have our basic package with Golgari Rot Farm, Temple of Malady, Tainted Wood. We have Bajuka Bog for some Graveyard Hate, Exotic Orchard. All right, we have Rogue's Passage to make our creature unblockable. The Black Gate, choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls. And then Susur Secundi Void Altar, which is once it's crewed, which should be easy, station it once with one of your big things and you're pretty much golden. Tap 2, pay 2 life, sack it, draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, activate as a sorcery. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. This is Magic at its purest, simplest, and finest. Nothing overly complicated, nothing overly fancy here, no combos. Just a big dumb creatures getting lots of value. If you want to see your deck and your commander be made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. We'll get it made for you. And as always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and safe travels.